Now a closer look at the monstrous humanitarian crisis that is unfolding every second of every day in Ukraine. We got a little glimpse of it right there. We're going to talk more about it. Dr. Thom Mayer just returned after spending 3 weeks providing medical care in Ukraine. Dr. Mayer is the medical director for the NFL Players Association, the executive vice president of Logix Health, and he knows something about a crisis. He was the command physician at the Pentagon during the September 11th attack. Doctor, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
So you led a Team Rubicon mobile emergency team, and you treated what 350 Ukrainians were told. When you were there, what did you see?
Well, first of all, Pamela, thanks for having me on. It's a privilege. What we saw was raw bravery, raw courage, raw tenacity on the part of the people that we saw. And let's be clear, we didn't see the soldiers. We were in a Western area. We saw their wives, we saw their children, we saw their parents, and the Ukrainian people, I can tell you from the 350 that we saw, are resolute in their spirit.
Why put yourself in that danger? Did you have hesitation, or did you just feel sort of this sense of duty to be there to help on the ground?
Well, I'm an emergency physician by background and a pediatric emergency physician as well. So you're trained to run to the sound of chaos. You're trained, as we did at the Pentagon, to run into the flames instead of away from the flames. So part of it's training, and part of it, we had an amazing team of emergency physician Dave Young, paramedic, physician assistant Chris, Leanne and Summer, our nurses, and Steve and Bro, our firefighters. And every one of them just felt like, get me there, get me to the front, and let us help find out how we can help.
And you also help train, right? You help train some 1,700 local medical personnel on some of the skills that are needed in a situation like this. How important are those skills? How can that make a difference in a war zone like this?
Well, the training, it always reminds me of Henry Adams, who said, a teacher affects eternity. He can never tell where his influence ends. And just so that training, because this is going to be a decades-long war, we fear, and having those people trained to do what we've been able to do is such a critical piece of the action.
Would you like to see a greater emphasis on sending U.S. medical personnel to Ukraine?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You know, your little story on Griffin, this 6-year-old girl, she opened her heart and she helped. Millions of people are opening their pocketbooks. We had the privilege of opening our passports and going into Ukraine, and we think that that's going to be a necessity for a good long time, years at a minimum.
Do you think then, in light of what you just said, you'll go back?
Absolutely. If my wife and kids will let me, absolutely.
I know how that is.
Sure.
When you have a family, there are other considerations. When you were there, did you feel safe wherever you said you were in Western Ukraine, right?
Yes, we're for obvious reasons, operational security reasons, we can't say exactly where, but Western Ukraine. And we knew we were going in harm's way. I will say, having seen a fair amount, which means I'm old, when you look out your window and see Russian rockets go past and hit several blocks away, you're where you need to be. You need to be in the action. Yes.
Just several blocks away.
Yes.
That must have been terrifying.
You know, it's strange that with our training, the whole team's hearts slow down when you see that, not speed up. But that said, it was clear that could have hit us instead of somebody else.
How did your day job as the NFL Players Union medical director prepare you for this trip? You know, you talked about having to respond on 9/11, but also everything you do in your day job, I imagine, prepared you as well.
Absolutely. Dee Smith, my boss, J.C. Treader, who's the president of our union, they were completely supportive of the mission, both financially and psychologically, spiritually, emotionally, and everything else. But day to day, we, the Players Association, have to speak truth to power, a far more powerful organization. And there were, in the middle of the night in the air raid shelters, there was that sense of the same speaking truth to power and using our influence to help make some little difference for the folks that we saw.
Just any final words from you for our viewers that are watching right now? You have been in a unique position, having been on the ground helping all of these Ukrainians. What else would you like to say as we close?
Well, the same thing that Churchill said: never give up, never give in, never, 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 never give up on the Ukrainian people. Anytime you have a chance to help them, it's worth it, and it will be repaid many times over with the courage, the tenacity, the bravery that they show.
All right, Dr. Thom Mayer, thank you. What a inspiring conversation. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you, Pamela.